Many properties in Washington, D.C. think they can end Firewatch as soon as the alarm company says the system has been repaired. It's a common belief, and it makes sense. If your building is on Firewatch due to alarm malfunctioning, you would think that you can end Firewatch as soon as it is repaired. The truth, in fact, is different. In Washington, D.C., you cannot end Firewatch until the fire marshal approves it to end. Ending Firewatch without approval can lead to serious consequences. In this video, I'll walk you through how to end Firewatch the right way in compliance with the regulations of the District of Columbia. I'm Rudo Robinson from Urgent Security and Firewatch, and I've spent over 15 years managing security and Firewatch projects in the DC metro area. I know how frustrating the Firewatch process can feel, and I want to make it easier for you. In this video, you will learn exactly what you need to do to end Firewatch in Washington, D.C. in full compliance with the regulations. Let's start with the fact that repairs do not end Firewatch. If your building is on Firewatch, sooner or later, your alarm company will come to you and say, "Congratulations, your fire alarm is repaired." Well, maybe not with such enthusiasm, but they will definitely let you know that your fire alarm system is back in service. At this point, most property managers would naturally think that they can end Firewatch immediately. Besides, the alarm is fixed and the Firewatch costs are adding up. It is completely understandable. The challenge is that the completion of repairs alone do not end Firewatch in Washington, D.C. In the District of Columbia, a Firewatch cannot end until the fire marshal confirms the system is back in service and approves it to end. That step controls everything. Next, you need to know what proof they look for. Required documentation. The fire marshal needs written proof from your alarm repair company or monitoring company. It can be any document from the alarm company or monitoring company as long as it states that the system is completely back in service. When your day is already full, tracking down paperwork feels like one more unwanted task on your seemingly unending list of things to do. Still, it's the only way that the process can move forward in compliance with the regulations. After you send the proof, the fire marshal will send an inspector to your location. The good news is, DC Fire Marshal's office is usually very responsive. In fact, in most cases, an inspector will arrive within 1 to 2 hours. I've seen them arrive within 30 minutes in some cases. They're very easy to work with as long as you follow the rules. The inspector will come, check the system in person, and report back. In most cases, the inspector will tell you at that point that you have passed inspection. This is where many property managers often get things confused. That leads to the next point: verbal approval versus official approval. The inspector will usually tell you verbally that you have passed inspection. It feels like the green light you've been waiting for. Unfortunately, it is not. Firewatch only ends when the fire marshal sends an email officially granting you permission to end the Firewatch. Until you have that written approval, your Firewatch must stay in place. In some cases, the fire inspector will bypass the written approval. This is often the case when the inspections happen after hours or maybe on a holiday. In these cases, they will give you a verbal approval and then send you an email the next business day. For this reason, it is important that when the fire marshal tells you that you have passed inspection, always ask if you can end Firewatch immediately. Ending Firewatch immediately without making sure that you have permission to end can end up in a very negative situation. And this is where timing matters. Timing in business hours. The DC Fire Marshal's office is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. Requests sent outside those hours usually wait until the next business day. As a result, if your alarm is repaired at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, for example, you will have to remain on Firewatch until you get the inspection and approval on Monday. I know you want to get your building back to normal, but the approval process has its own schedule, and unfortunately, you have to comply with it. Let's talk about what happens if part of your building has been repaired and you want to reduce the number of Firewatch officers. Reducing staff levels. Let's say you have a building with 8 floors. In Washington, D.C., that building would require 5 people. However, in this case, 4 floors are now back in service. When part of the system starts working again, it's natural to want to go ahead and reduce staff immediately. Besides, alarm repairs in Firewatch are unexpected, unwanted problems that cost a lot of money. Unfortunately, you cannot reduce staff without the fire marshal's approval. Just like getting permission to terminate, in order to reduce staff, you must send the fire marshal an email officially requesting permission to reduce the staff levels. An inspector will be sent to your location and decide what areas still need Firewatch coverage and which areas don't, or if there will be approval to reduce staff. Until the inspector approves the change, your original staffing levels must stay in place, regardless of what your repair company says about your alarm. It all comes down to what the fire marshal approves. If you want to avoid these delays and compliance problems, contact our team at Urgent Security in Firewatch. We know what it takes to provide reliable Firewatch that complies with the regulations. You can reach us at 888-241-8183, or you can find us online at urgentsecurity.com.